Hello everyone, good morning. Today we start with our English lecture, and in this first lecture we are going to start with the first chapter of First Flight. But before we start with it, let me give you a brief introduction on the books that we are going to deal with in this year. There will be two books in English naming First Flight and Footprints Without Feet. First Flight includes 11 units and 11 points, whereas Footprints Without Feet includes 10 lessons. Here today we start with First Flight, first lesson named A Letter to God. Let's start. Before you read, they say that faith can move mountains. Faith, that is Vishwas. So if you have faith in something, it does come in front of you. It's actually created in front of your eyes. So they say faith can move mountains, but what should we put our faith in? This is a question that this story delicately poses. Delicately means very gently. It poses, that is presence in front of us. Here the story is about a farmer whose name is Lencho. He writes a letter to God when his crops are destroyed, that's ruin, asking for 100 pesos. Pesos is a basic monetary unit of many Latin American countries. Also, you can call South American countries. Does Lencho's letter reach God? Does God send him the money? Think what your answers to these questions would be and guess how the story continues before you begin to read it. Let's start with the story. The house, the only one in the entire valley, sat on the crest of a low hill. It means that the house of Lencho was the only house in that entire valley, and it was located on the top of the low hill. From this height, one could see the river flowing and the field of ripe corn, that is ready to eat corn or fully developed corn, covered with the flowers, that is dotted with the flowers, which always promised a good harvest. Harvest, that is the process of gathering in crops. The only thing the earth needed was rainfall, that is downpour, or at least a shower. Throughout the morning, Lencho, who knew his fields intimately means to have detailed knowledge about something. So Lencho was a person who knew his fields very intimately, and throughout the morning he had done nothing else but he saw towards the sky, towards northeast. Next. Now we are really going to get some water woman. Now woman here denotes to his wife. So he is talking to his wife and telling her that this year they were going to get some water, that is some rainfall. The woman who was preparing supper, that is you can call as evening meal or dinner. So this lady, while preparing supper, she replied, yes, God willing, that is God's wish. Now the grown-up boys, that is the older boys, were working in the field, while the smaller ones were playing near the house, until the women called all of them, come for dinner. And it was during the meal that, just as Lencho had predicted means thought of or forecasted, big drops of rain began to fall. And in the northeast, huge mountains of clouds could be seen approaching. Approaching means coming nearer. As he was looking towards the northeast, what we saw in the previous slide, he saw that the clouds were coming nearer. The air was fresh and sweet, as we experienced on the first rain. The air was fresh and sweet. The man went out for no other reason than to have the pleasure of feeling the rain on his body. And when he returned, he exclaimed. Now here, the man went out of his house for no other reason but just to enjoy the feeling of that rain, first rain on his body. And when he entered his house, he exclaimed that these are not the raindrops falling from the sky, but they are new coins. Now, what does new coins denote here? It means that this time, this rainfall is going to bring huge prosperity to their family, is going to bring a big harvest. And the big drops, he said, are 10-cent pieces, whereas the little ones are fives. Now, cent over here means once again a monetary unit in many countries. A cent is 1/100th of a dollar. So he compared the big drops as 10-cent pieces and the little raindrops as 5-cent pieces. Next. With a satisfied expression, he regarded the field of ripe corn with its flowers, draped means covered in a curtain of rain. Now he was so very satisfied that when he looked at his field of ripe corn with its flowers, he saw as if the field was covered with rain, with a curtain of rain, you can say indeed. But suddenly it so happened that a strong wind began to blow, and along with the rain, very large hailstones began to fall. Now, the rain with which there was excitement and happiness in Lencho's family, suddenly that rainfall was converted into hailstone. Now, hailstone means small balls of ice that falls like rain from the sky. This truly did resemble means it looked like, it was very similar to new silver coins. The boys exposing themselves to rain, that is revealing themselves to the rain or moving out of the house to enjoy the rainfall, ran out to collect these silver coins. That is actually not silver coins, but they were the ice balls, they were the hailstones, or you can say to collect the frozen pearls, as it is the name given to this hailstone. Next. It's really getting bad now, exclaimed the man. Exclaim could be, you can say, in excitement, it could be in happiness, it could be in sorrow. Here, it is not excitement or happiness, but it was a sign of worry. He was sad. So the man exclaimed and said that it's really getting bad now. That is, the situation outside was getting worse. He was afraid of his corn getting destroyed. I hope it passes quickly. And he wished, that is Lencho wished, that this storm passes away quickly so that his field doesn't get destroyed. But yes, it was God's wish. The storm didn't pass quickly. For 1 hour, the hail rained on the house. That is, the hailstones kept on raining on the house and the garden and on the hillside, the cornfield and on the whole valley. Now the field looked white as if covered with salt. White, that is why the field looked white, because the whole field was covered with the ice balls. So it looked as if it was covered with salt. Not a leaf remained on the trees. That is, now you couldn't see a single leaf, a single green leaf on the tree, because all covered with like snowballs, you can say, or you can say the hailstone. The corn was totally destroyed. That was a great sorrowful situation for Lencho. The flowers were gone, that is destroyed from the plants. Lencho's soul was filled with sorrow, that is sadness. Now when the storm had passed, he stood in the middle of his field and said to his sons, "A plague of locusts would have left more than this." Now let's take a pause over here and first of all go through the meaning above, that is locust. What does locust mean actually? It's a large tropical grasshopper. Actually, it's a solitary one, that is mostly it's found in a single manner, but when its population explodes, it goes out and destroys the crops. And the word plague means a large number of insects infesting a place or a field, you can say, and causes damage. So come back once again to that sentence that Lencho told his sons that a plague of locusts would have left more than this. Means if locusts would have come and attacked the field, at least something would have been left behind for us to survive this year. But the hailstorm was destructive. It had left nothing for them. Next. It's really getting bad now, we saw just now. But as we move ahead, it's said that this year, he said, we are going to have no corn. That is, we are totally destroyed. Our field is destroyed. Our corn is destroyed totally. That night was a night of sorrow for Lencho's family. All our work for nothing. It means we have worked throughout the year so much. But now there's nothing left with us. There's no one now who can come and help us. We will all go hungry this year. That is, now there's no one on this planet who can come and help us in this situation. And this year, we are not going to reap anything. We are not going to have any money. And we are going to go hungry this year. Now here, it's just a short comprehension check which you will have to try on your own in the next chapters. But here, a short help is given from our side. First one, what did Lencho hope for? Lencho hoped for good rain needed for crops. So for this, you'll have to read the chapter again so that you can relate the questions to the story and frame your answers. Why did Lencho say the raindrops were like new coins? Because they were promising a good harvest and prosperity, that is richness. Third, how did the rain change and what happened to Lencho's fields? The rain changed to hailstones and destroyed Lencho's crops. Fourth, what were Lencho's feeling when the hail stopped? When the hail stopped, Lencho was very sad. Sorry for that spelling mistake, that is Lencho. So when the hail stopped, Lencho was very sad because now he could not feed his family and he saw a dark future for his family. Now for the time being, we stop over here. But in the next video, we continue with the story, which is actually very interesting and humorous. So till then, wait and guess what is going to be the end of this story. See you very soon in the second part. Thank you. Good day.